Estimates say that millions of people showed up to protest the Trump-Musk administration over the weekend. Most recently over his consumer tax by way of tariffs and the havoc it's wreaked on the stock market and people's retirement plans. But you wouldn't know it by watching the news. Meanwhile, the hands-off protests made front-page news at international outlets, which reported on them how the world sees them, as millions of people taking to the streets to oppose an authoritarian's destruction of the US economy at the benefit of its billionaires. Over 100,000 people showed up in DC, hundreds of thousands more in New York, and estimates from organizers up to 5 million protesters at over 1,000 locations nationwide. And yet, because these are coordinated multi-location protests instead of consolidated into one location, they're being treated like it's nothing. Thousands of people showed up in towns like Portsmouth, New Hampshire, for example, and that's 10% of the population. In Prescott, Arizona, one of the most MAGA-leaning towns around, nearly 2,000 people showed up in defiance of Trump's power grab and Musk's efforts to solidify an American oligarchy. The important thing to realize about this protest is it wasn't a one-time thing. It's ongoing. The 50-51 movement has been organizing them on the 5th of every month since Trump took office, and they've been growing exponentially.
As you can see, I'm in the streets of Atlanta. We're taking a stand against oligarchy, taking a stance against Trump, taking a stance against Elon.
So the police have shut down the streets in Dallas.
Together, we the people will win this fight. It's only just begun.
And even though it may not feel like it, these movements have a history of success. Growing acts of protest and civil disobedience culminated in 250,000 people showing up for MLK's March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, which was pivotal to the civil rights movement and paved the way for the Civil Rights Act and Fair Housing Act, both of which are being dismantled under the Trump administration. In 2017, nearly 6 million people turned out at over 400 protests across the country to oppose Trump's planned attacks on women's rights that spawned a generation of women leaders who are responsible for taking control of Congress in 2018 and 2020.